I'm honestly glad that we had that day because I have never drank like that ever again.
Democrat.
But I think
that was scary.
So
hell.
I think that's what helped Madison.
But you learned from it.
Because one New Year's Eve, I think you were there at Emmett's house.
Yeah,
That
she's
New
down
Year's
like
Eve,
half a bottle of Blanton's.
She got thrown.
I remember because y'all came out and you're like, she's all crying inside the RV because she was drunk and she didn't want to feel drunk no more.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It was
and
really
it's liquor.
bad.
Like,
that's gonna last
sobering
long.
up with
Because
beer
Maddie
is
doesn't
not
like
too
beer.
bad, right?
Yeah.
Liquor, good night.
Yeah.
Like your day's
Yeah.
done.
Remember
Maddie likes drinking bourbon.
Allegedly.
He was so drunk at my mom's house the other one time. He was blaming the barbecue chicken why the room was
Food
spitting.
poisoning.
Like he had E. coli. You got E. coli
It
poisoning.
was your mom. So
now you're blaming his mom.
Well, that's the thing, right? So
up.
this was one night, and I told my parents I don't even care, and I was underage drinking, and this was yes, I was underage.
I didn't consent.
To getting raped.
And then we put the fan back.
So here's the story. Love your mom, love your dad. Here's the story. So, of course, my parents they didn't condone drinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people know that I drank underage, and I enjoyed it, and it was my choice.
My fault.
So not even
No.
I
It was
drank
his
before I met you.
choice.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter though. Even if he had it, it was your choice to
yeah,
do
exactly.
Yeah.
And I again self accountability, right?
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very much so.
thank you. I
So-
won't go to jail.
So it was a night. It was pouring rain. Like they were expecting flash floods and everything. I was here at Paul's house, and my parents called me and they say, "Look, it's gonna get bad out there within the next 20, 30 minutes. Just stay the night if it's okay."
Yeah.
To me, that was cling, ling, 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 ling. You get to get drunk
I'm gonna
tonight.
get throwed.
So we started downing beers left and right, and then the night was done. Right, we ran out of beer.
Then he told Paul, "You better see what your ass to the wall."
So luckily, like again, I had my little brother, but I wasn't driving. Right, that's the good thing, right? Don't ever drink and drive, kids, especially
Don't
with
drink
family
and
in the
drive.
cars.
Yep.
She just tore the thing.
So here's the thing, right? I'm laying in bed, and the room starts spinning, and that's where you regret everything, right? You're just like,
Yeah.
man, had I just not.
Yeah.
So I end up telling my brother, dude, I'm gonna throw up. So I get up, I go to the restroom, and I'm like yakking everything up. And I just had chicken from the neighbors that they cooked chicken, right? And his mom comes in, and she's like, "Are you okay, mijo?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I had some bad chicken." Like, and I'm throwing up chicken. Like, it was pretty bad. And she looked at me. She's like, "Yeah, chicken." This is how drunk I was. And mind you, I've never taken an Alka-Seltzer in my life.
I don't know what she's eating.
I learned the hard way how not to. By just putting the entire tablet in your mouth. I was that drunk, but again, I've never taken an Alka-Seltzer in my life. I literally took it out the package and
Church communion.
Oh my
legit.
god!
I just started foaming out the mouth.
Oh my god!
And mind you, I'm already
You
drunk.
never see Little Giants?
I'm already drunk.
Like that's what they do. They put it in their mouth. And they're like, "What's this for?" Intimidation.
Intimidation.
I was drunk.
I don't know what she's
Dude,
eating.
I was so fearful of the consequences of being drunk. I didn't want to be drunk no more. Right? But I didn't learn my lesson.
Man,
that's
that's
it.
I'm gonna tell you, like I tell my boys now, you couldn't have been that fearful if you did it to begin with. You can't cry after you did the thing. like Max, dude.
You can.
No,
And
you
I
can't.
did.
It's stupid.
It is, but I did.
Nah.
That's so funny.
But it's funny, like, see, so I think that like the conversation she had right now about Madison and smoking and drinking, right? And what you just said, they all tie in together, especially as a parent. Now, when I look at it, right?
Now,
If you're that naive to think that your kid isn't on their phone looking at something they shouldn't be looking at, if they're not at school cussing up a storm, if they're not out with their friends attempting to drink or attempting to do something stupid, if you're that naive, man, then I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
okay.
Because you know what goes on. You live.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, like if you're that parent that's like, oh no, not my junior, he wouldn't do that.
No.
Get
Well,
the
see, I I don't know, Mom, but I'm pretty sure I was that person, right?
You know what? And
I
I'm
don't
sure.
think Junior would do this.
No,
right?
but I think-
Junior did.
Junior did that.
but at the same time, I think
I was an angel.
I think no, but there's the difference, right? I think I tell you this,
It's like, yeah.
or I don't know. I see your family just a little more tight knit. You talk, so I could see them saying, "Man, you know what? Not my kid." It wasn't a naive thing. I don't think. I think it was just an expectation, right?
And again, they did a hell of a job with teaching morals, respect.
Yes.
The thing is, we
Yes.
have choice. We all have choice.
Yeah.
Even under the age of 18, there's always a choice.
Of course, yeah, no. But that's what I'm saying, though. That's why I want to kind of just roll back on what I'm saying as far as if you're that naive parent, right?
Yeah.
I think they had an expectation because of the way you guys were, and you are, right? You're still a tight family. You guys talk
And
about.
we talked about all
Maybe
this.
next episode we could talk about the dumb stuff we did during the DJ throughout the years.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's got that,
That's a lot.
that gleam in his eye.
Like everything, like
Everything.
Everything.
Exposed.
Allah. It's on a different level. Well, you guys were single though, like in most.
I know that's what I'm saying. We're gonna.
So it's different. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh.
don't get me wrong. There was
kind of. I guess I could say it now.
You could lie about you were single.
not now. But I that's what I'm saying. So like being married, and we got married in 2006. The band started in 2009.
I'll say what. Oh, the next episode, like what the stuff I did. I don't mind. It's the past.
Oh
Yeah,
'cause
we all
in the
have
past. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
in the
It's in the
past.
past.
I don't know, but
Oh
anyway.
man, that should be interesting.
See, now Paul's excited. I've never seen him want to talk this much.
I
There's,
got in trouble.
there's some juicy stuff.
Oh, it got juicy.
Yeah, there's some.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Your,
We'll talk
mother,
about
your mother's gonna see this.
It's
Hey,
okay. She's.
I'm-
Oh, my mom knows.
No, she knows.
All right.
My
Oh,
mom. Yeah.
But
well.
see, you have that kind of conversations
Cool.
with your mom.
Yeah,
And that,
yeah,
and
you
I
do.
think
Go on.
that's cool
And-
as hell.
and-
Like I
yeah. When my dad was alive, rest in peace. He knows.
Rest in
Yeah.
peace, Mingo.
He was
Like,
out there
I
with
think-
us, hanging out.
Yeah, he was.
I think that's
Yeah, he was.
Go with your
I
dad.
think that's the coolest thing ever. You know, like because I didn't have that relationship with my mom. Like it wasn't where I could tell my mom or talk to my mom about my drunken nights and stuff like that. Like it was. In high school, it was one of those things where it was like, well, I've already had a kid, so what worse can I do? Like
Right
if I'm,
there.
yeah. I was talking about stupid. I'm talking about like senior skip day, right? So we all skipped school or whatever, and we went to go to the Donkey Lady Bridge, and we went and
I'll
I
have a
called my
donkey sound
mom.
effect.
Oh. I called my mom and I told her where we were going and everything. And when we got back, my mom was sitting there in the parking lot. And everybody was freaking out. And they were like, oh my God, your mom is here. Like, are you going to get in trouble? And I'm like, no, I called my mom and I told my mom where I was going. They're like, oh, that's so cool. Like, you talk to your mom like that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've had a kid already.
I had
what
friends-
worse can I do?
I had friends that would lie to their parents about where they're going, and
Yeah.
I'd tell my parents where we're actually
Yeah.
going.
yeah.
And they're like, would you tell your mom? I go, we're going.
yeah.
Well, they're okay with that? I'm like, yeah, because otherwise I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And I told them, through no fault of your own, that I do it to just like piss you off or be like a rebel against you.
Yeah.
It was just a choice that I made because I enjoyed it.
We were mature when we drank. To a certain extent.
No, you weren't, jackass.
Ain't nothing
None
mature
of us
about
were, dude. None of
Yeah.
us were, and that's what, like, dude. That's another.
No,
I
but
can't
we were
wait.
mature enough not to post anything and be all stupid.
Well, yeah, we didn't
But
have
we were
social
also.
media
I was gonna say
back
we were
then.
at a point in time where, like, even if we did, I don't do that. The biggest.
likelihood
It wasn't.
of our
It wasn't
parents-
this.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
the
gonna
way it
say,
is right now.
The
Yeah, your
likelihood
parents
of our
weren't on
parents
social
having
media back
social
then.
media
Yeah.
back then
Oh, yeah.
was
Rogan
very
was talking about that
uncommon.
today
Yeah.
about how
Yeah.
Facebook is like a graveyard of like nothing but old people, and I'm like,
It started that way.
Oh,
for
I
me.
know. My niece called me. She said Facebook's for old people. Oh, I felt so.
dude, I just
old.
found out my
triggered.
boys. My boys are they're chatting away on this thing, right? Like, so they're going back and forth, right, on this. To me, it looked like the old Yahoo or AOL the chat rooms, right?
Uh-huh.
It's what is it called?
You got
Discord.
Discord, I think is.
I think is what it's like some
Yeah.
social media thing the kids use. I didn't even know it existed, right? screw me, I guess. I try to stay in like up to
Right.
date with.
We think we are.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've got TikTok and
TikTok.
I've got all the how do we say
Oh,
it?
and Instagram.
We have Instagram.
Instagram.
I don't
But-
even use that either.
I don't either, but I have it
But
right.
all
Like
the younger people. Oh man, I feel old.
We
saying
try
that.
to be relevant, but it's starting.
Yeah.
That gap is. Just
Oh, yeah,
up.
apparently that Discord thing. I think that's what it's called. They're like
It's all cap.
Dude, lit's not even a thing anymore.
I can't
really, like
say that because the boys are like, "Mom, stop." And I'm like, "You're a capper. Are you not a capper? Did you not cap about this? Because you're a capper.
you don't got
Cappity cap
swag,
capper.
bro.
you're capping right
We've
now.
You're
become
capping
our
right now.
parents.
No,
Oh my
seriously.
god.
That's pretty
No,
sad.
but I do it on purpose. The boys are like, "Mom, I'm
Yeah,
on the phone."
but-
I'm like,
yeah.
"I don't give a shit. I don't care."
They think it's not cool, but
I'm the capstress. That's what you should
I
say.
think you can
You should say
guys.
that.
there was
Oh
a
my
point that we
God.
thought our parents weren't cool.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
remember?
Like I think I played a playlist one time that it was like Maddie's dance party playlist that I
Yeah,
played.
but these new
But
words.
it was like Soulja Boy was on
these
there.
new words don't last like our words.
Yeah.
Well, of course
Yeah.
not, dude. I don't even know when did cap become a thing.
I
Like,
have
as a
no
lie, like that's
idea.
not what I knew cap as.
Well, that was like
You know
what
the
was
weird
that?
part?
Clout was the one, and I was
Yeah.
like, dude, this has been around forever.
Yeah,
You know the weird
Like
part
clout.
is the people that they look up to are actually our age. Right?
Luna,
Yeah.
That's the
Get down.
weird part. So they get influenced by 20, 25,
Yeah.
26, 28-year-olds.
not mine.
Oh, those are your age.
My
Those
age.
your
Those are
age.
your age.
But
I'm
I
10
can't
years
even
older than
relate
that.
to
Older
it.
than that.
That's the weird part. I can't even relate to it.
Yeah, but again, we're from a different, like those kids or those people at
Stop
20,
trying to make yourself younger. You're 30 this year.
those people at 28, dirty 30.
I was gonna say, says the guy wearing the little dad hat, like
Oh yeah. Well,
Acting like he's
I'm
younger.
a dada.
Dad bod.
you're a
Baby shark.
That was Daddy Shark.
Oh yeah. This
That
is
was-
baby shark. No,
there you
this
go.
baby shark.
There you go.
And we deviated big time from that conversation.
Yeah, we did.
Right.
Because I was getting at that about having the fear of God
Oh yeah.
and
yeah,
with
yeah.
us.
the parents, yeah,
But yeah, with our parents,
because
right?
they would whoop our ass.
Well, I know,
Right,
but we didn't. We
exactly.
had the option, or they had the option to do that. Nowadays, dude, I mean, goddamn, you got to worry about lawyers and
Yeah,
Yes.
it's-
Dude,
you know-
I got my ass beat when my mom found
Oh,
out that
yeah.
I was pregnant with Madison. Like,
And you're
I
pregnant.
Yes, and I was pregnant.
you can't unscrew.
Seriously. Like, I got my ass beat. And it was so dumb because I hid it from her for like 2 months. And then the one morning that my sister wakes up and she decides to, like, just be in the restroom all morning long. And I got to freaking throw up. So I run outside and I go and I throw up. And my mom's like, "Are you pregnant?" And me being all don chingona. I was like, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am."
No matter how much your parents hit you or whatever, you
Yeah.
still respected them no matter
for
what.
real.
Like,
I respect
Exactly.
Yeah.
them even more.
Exactly. No, you're
Well, even if you didn't,
100%
even
right.
even if you don't, right then and there, there's something that comes out of it later on in life, man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
I-
understand
I-
until you're there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
straight up, dude. Because I hated my dad for a long time, man. And then now that he's gone, it's this year be 5 years next month, or actually this month.
Yeah.
But now that he's gone, like I appreciate all the little things, right? The ass chewings, getting hit, getting things thrown at me, whatever
Yeah.
it was at the time that I didn't like it. I tell the boys this all the time.
You don't realize it, but that's because he cared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the crazy
That's what I
part.
tell the kids all the time. I'm like, dude, if I didn't care, I'd let you go be a little jerk off at school. Go do what you want and be getting in trouble, and
Yeah.
you'll end up in
if
alternative
I didn't
school.
throw the microwave at you, I didn't love you.
No.
My dad almost ran me over with a car.
It's because
My
I
dad-
loved you.
True love.
My dad shot me with a nail gun in the back of the neck.
Oh yeah, that was by accident though.
Allegedly.
Nah, he loved it.
But he loved
He's like,
you.
let me show you how much I love
No, but it was even like I've told you for the longest time, and I'll tell anybody, like my mom didn't like me growing up. Like my mom really disliked me. It
Really?
was all about my
Any reason why?
And you knew? Do you
I
know
have no
that for
idea.
a fact?
No, I know that for a fact, 100%. Because up until she got put, it was right before she went to hospice, right before she just lost all of her mind and everything. In the end, she was like, "I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry for the way that I treated you. I'm sorry for everything. I know that you were the one that was there for me. I know that you were you always took care of me. You
She
always
hated
looked out
me.
for me. Yeah, she hated both. Like she hated
you?
me, and she really,
She hated me, dude.
really hated him.
But at the end
Yeah.
of everything, like she said, I mean, dude, there wasn't nothing I would have done for her.
My mom told me, you know, that was the last sane thing that she ever told me was, I'm so sorry. Like, I know I've treated you bad through these years. I know I treated Alex bad these last couple years, and I'm so sorry. Like, I see now you're the one that's here for me. You're the one that's taking care of me. Like,
And it's
she
hard to
told me that
blame
at
them
the
because
end.
they don't have a manuscript on how to be a parent.
Yeah.
Nobody
Nah,
does.
straight up.
Yeah,
learn,
no.
Yeah.
No.
live in
But
your
I mean, in the same
Definitely.
sense, it's almost that. It's almost, you can say the same thing about being a kid. Anyway, I think too. Dude, I don't think any of us really know how any of us are gonna handle a situation
They
like
don't.
when it's your turn, right? So like, I don't know how you and your family are. I mean, I know how his are, but like they haven't gone through what me and you have gone through, losing our dads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that puts you in a different mindset.
That's
And
different.
yeah,
Way
I don't
different,
understand. You know,
yeah.
there were some things that I was like, man, I don't know why some things are being done this way or that way. Apparently, you know, my dad spoke to my mom and my sisters a little bit more about certain things that he didn't to me. But anyway, I mean, you just don't know, right? You don't know how you're gonna be. You don't know how anything's gonna end up. So that's why, like I said, for the most part, I leave them alone.
I think that was the hard part when my mom died, because like when your dad passed, it was like, okay, you know, like I feel bad, but I'm like, dude, like get up and go to work.
I think
Yeah.
that's when I
Like,
first
you know?
met you, when your dad passed
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, he was in his feels and everything, obviously, right? Like that's his dad, and I'm like, I didn't understand what he was going through at that time, because I don't.
Also, his
I
dad
didn't-
passed away before your
Yeah.
mom. Okay.
I don't have those feelings towards either of my parents.
Uh-huh.
You know? Like and I didn't. Like even when my mom passed, right? Like it hurt. Like don't get me wrong, did I cry? Yeah, I did. But I didn't go into the slump that he went into.
But it wasn't that bad.
But I understood it
Yeah.
after my mom passed. I understood what he was going through, but me personally, I just couldn't go through that slump. Like I couldn't be down there because, well, I'm a mom. I have kids and everything. My mom was older. My mom lived her life. My mom did what she wanted to do and everything, and it was like I don't know, like even like my dad right now, he has cancer, and I haven't seen him. I haven't talked to him. I haven't nothing, you know. But when my dad goes, I gotta go to work.
But
Like,
but again, but
you
I
know,
think
I gotta go to work the next day. I gotta go do what I gotta do.
but that's what I'm
you know.
saying. So like I think it's
I think it was
Knowing-
just a different upbringing.
yeah, that's
like,
what I was
truthfully.
getting to. And
Yeah.
so like him being close with his pops, close
Yeah.
with his mom, these guys being close
I
with
didn't
their
have that
families.
relationship with
Well,
my,
dude,
with my
I'm
parents.
telling you, I
so.
hated my dad till
Yeah.
I was 18. Like, we just learned how to be like a father and son
Yeah.
after all those years, right? And then he was gone, and then I got hit twice because my grandfather earlier that year,
that same year.
and then my dad.
And
you
then
know,
6 months later, it was your dad. Yeah.
And so like it was pretty nuts, but I mean I don't think it was. I could have been way worse.
yeah.
See, like
think-
me, I always convince myself that it's gonna happen one day, right? It's just the way it is. But you're never prepared, right?
hell
No
no.
matter
Oh,
how
no,
much you
you're
are.
never prepared.
I sit here and tell myself, dude, like you know what to expect,
Yeah.
but I won't know until I'm there.
His dad,
Right.
like it just happened, and
sudden.
it was
Yeah.
like,
The crazy
dude,
thing
I'm
about
at home
it
making
is,
potato salad, and I get a call that this man's
the crazy
gone,
thing
and I'm
about
like,
it
what
is,
the
I mean, for one, it's your dad, so it's
Yeah.
a deeper relationship.
Yeah.
But for us, like we barely saw the guy too,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
we had really no relationship with him, and it's crazy how it worked out that we saw him that Sunday
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we haven't hung out for years.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that one Sunday he showed up, we drank, we had a great conversation, and
Yeah.
then that Friday, right? If I'm
Yes.
not mistaken.
Yeah, well we
It was
were
that Friday?
because we were gonna
Yeah.
get together Saturday to barbecue.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what we were saying too. It was like, dude, like we decided to, because originally we were gonna leave after like an hour or so of being there that Sunday, because it was like, dude, I gotta go to work tomorrow. You gotta go to work. The kids gotta go to school and everything. And we ended up staying there till like 1:00 in the morning, and he stayed there till 1:00 in the morning. Like it was so it was such an awesome day. like just having him there and having the conversation. That was the day that you found out that he was like him and Emmett had gone off smoking in whatever car that they had or whatever. He
weed.
never knew that they had.
I know my dad. I didn't know my dad did
smoked
that.
weed.
You never knew?
No.
Yeah,
I heard
no.
stories. Well, same thing, right? Like, as you have that conversation as an adult,
Yeah.
it's crazy
Well,
talking.
Yeah,
but
you
again,
were-
though,
were
so
in a
like, dude, I
family
mean, you
like
have
that.
to look at, like I said, man, we're talking almost 19 years of my life where I respected him, but I hated him. You know what I mean? He wasn't there for a lot of stuff, man. But it took me to become a grown ass man to realize that like everything I got to do was because he wasn't there. You know what I mean? He was always working. Like he would do 34, 35 years with the same company.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they said, jump. Like he was in Florida when I was born. Like he wasn't around. Like, so I hated him for it. But at the same time, you know, never having those conversations because we weren't that family, right? Like I didn't have, hey, dad, you know, blah, blah. Like, hey, you know, there was no, like the boys can come to me like right now, you know, they're, dad, you want to play Call of Duty or you want to play Fortnite? I'm like, dude, let's get down. Let's do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I literally, I couldn't tell my dad any of that. Like he was, if he wasn't talking about sports, he was talking about work. Now you know why I hate sports, because it's just he was always talking about football and baseball and like how he used to play. That's why, like, dude, honestly, in front of the kids, I try to like not talk about like my band or playing guitar. Like I try, you know what I mean? Because like I'm fortunate enough that they all play some sort of instrument. They took to music, right? But man, I can tell you this much, man. I tried to step into my pop's shoes. I went to go work with him. Man, I found out quick, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm not built for it.
That's the
I'm not
wet
built
back
for it.
land that I didn't want to be in.
What
man.
did he do?
They did construction. Yeah,
Construction.
industrial.
Oh, okay.
We just were walking downtown Saturday. We took the dogs,
Yeah.
and we got to go this Saturday.
These hands are for keyboards.
Anyway,
Sundays are relaxing.
but we were walking downtown, and I retold the story of the kids of the building where the wall fell down.
Yeah.
Right. So me and my dad and Emmett were at that building. She was in labor with Madison the same day.
We had never met.
We never met.
We
We didn't even know. Like, I was telling the story one day, and she's like, "Hey, I remember that. I was."
Oh no, he was saying, "Oh, well, I can't remember what day it was," and I was like, "Oh, it was December 4th of 2002," and he's like, "Well, how do you know?" And I was like, "Well, because
That's
Madison
funny.
was
December
born that
4th
day."
was my actual birth due date for myself.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Damn, we would have been
That's
December
hilarious.
babies.
That's weird.
No, yeah, and I told him, I was like, "Dude, it was December 4th of 2002," and he's like, "Well, how do you know?" And I was like, "Well, Madison was born that day." I was like, "I remember being in labor with Madison and the doctors." Looking at the TV, watching it, and I'm like, hello, having a baby over here. 16-year-old kid having a
Put the
kid
wall.
over here. And he's like, oh, yeah, that happened here in San Antonio. And God, I hated the whole incident until he told me that they were working
was
at
there,
that
yeah.
building that
pretty
day
nuts.
that
I was
I
telling-
was having Madison.
I was telling the kids were walking downtown. And I'm like, dude, look, you know, Uncle Emmett and my dad were way up there. Grandpa said, and I was down here with the other wetbacks and
That's
scrubs.
crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
nuts, dude. It was nuts. That day, like, I seriously thought that day I lost them both. Like, cause dude, there was like a hole from the river level where they were taking material and flying it up, right? And they were building him. So I was at river level, dude, and it was supposed to rain that day. We were just about to go to lunch, and my mom had made me this homemade food. I was like, yeah. And dude, all of a sudden I hear this rumble, and I was like, damn, it's like, oh, that's bad rain, dude. Like, it's pouring. And then all of a sudden this cloud of smoke just goes inside there like a vacuum
Oh.
and sucks it in and goes out to the river level, dude. And we covered up, dude, walked out, and then I turned around and the wall was gone. Like, you could just see straight through the wall where there was the existing. Was what they were trying to do was build the inside and keep the outside, right? Like, they wanted to keep it as it was original.
Yeah.
And anyway, dude, and I thought I lost them both, man. I got up to they brought us up to street level on St. Mary's, and I was chilling there for a good while, dude. And I was like, damn, like you see all the framing and everything was just collapsed on that. I think they were like four or six. I don't remember. I think it was 4 or 6 floors from street level up. And then all of a sudden I see my dad and I saw him and I was like, whoa, man, nuts. And then, like I said, later on to be like, she was in labor. We didn't know each other. Like, we didn't.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. It's like
It's
crash.
crazy how like those stories intertwine with each other. It's like, dude, I was watching that on TV while I was having
Because we're connected.
Madison. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's freaking nuts. Like, I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool story. Oh, God.
Your eyes are all bloodshot.
Oh yeah.
I had all 6 beers tonight.
I
That's
know
why.
you did.
I drank all 6. I didn't even like them.
I can't wait till we get to talk about sobriety.
That's up to you. Right? One day.
I think we had a good conversation about
it's
abortions today.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
that was good. Yeah.
I think everything,
that was
everything
really
except
good,
for
yeah.
the first 20 minutes, Paul being a dick.
This is gonna be the one serious one. They thought the other one was serious.
Yeah, I thought the other one was serious until I saw it, and I was like, okay, it was
That's
not
my
bad.
favorite one though. That's the ironic part.
The one where we got super
we got
serious?
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that told me, oh, it was a little too serious. I'm like, dude, that's my favorite one.
Hour, you know what I mean?
But I think a lot of people would watch that whole abortion segment.
yeah, I like that.
think
Like,
segment.
because
if
I
you can
think
relate
that's-
to it,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
more
that's
people
a
I
relate
think
to
everybody
it. Yeah.
can.
big segment.
I think everybody
Like,
can because I
that's
think
a real
everybody's
big
got an
discussion.
opinion on it.
Yeah, I
right?
think more people
Oh,
relate
yeah,
to
for
that
sure.
than the Joe Rogan stuff from
Yeah.
that episode that you like.
Well, that and I think that more people can relate to that over politics because
Oh,
most
for
people
sure.
don't want to be
Yeah.
involved in politics, right?
Yeah.
I like that conversation.
It's easier to have an opinion.
I
on
love
this.
that conversation. Like, I love having that conversation about abortion because I'm all for it if that's what you want. Like,
and there's
I don't-
nothing wrong
but
with
then-
having an opinion.
yeah,
You-
but
you all should.
I see both sides of it, right? So I'm all for an abortion if that's what y'all want. But then I'm on the other side too. Like you were saying, if the guy really wants the kid and doesn't want her to have an abortion, then why can't that guy have that kid? Like, why not
You missed that
have the
whole
female?
argument.
No, I know. I went to go smoke. I
But
know.
you can't. You can't.
No, but I
kinda like you're making her a
completely-
surrogate.
Can you sympathize with
I
with the
can.
male?
I
well-
totally can. So if the guy wanted the kid and the girl didn't, then why can't the girl just carry the kid and give the kid to the guy? Sign over her rights to the guy, and then okay, now it's your responsibility. Like, because I'm all for it. I'm all for a guy taking care of their kid. I'm all for it.
But I like what he said because it's true. What we're doing is legislating for the woman to do what she doesn't want to do. That I sympathize because I understand it.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Is
Yeah.
we're telling you if you don't want to go through with the 9 months, I don't care what you want. You have to because the father wants to.
Yeah.
I get.
Yeah.
Again, I can understand it.
yeah.
Because I feel both.
no,
Like
and
I understand
you-
the
you
point.
could
Get
say
it,
both
right?
sides,
Because a girl has to carry that. A girl has to go through all those emotions.
And that's the thing. We
and all
could
of
see
that
both
stress
sides.
and-
Some people
yeah.
don't see
They
both
don't
want
sides.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Like it's a lot to ask for somebody to go through those 9 months to carry a child to just hand
And as a
hand it
man, we'll
away.
never know that struggle.
Right.
Right. But we also
Yeah.
can kind of understand what life would be
Yeah.
with what would have been. Right.
Yeah. But I think like
'Cause,
the
like,
happy medium
you
there.
have a son now, right? And of course y'all have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine life without them? And is it
No.
better? I mean, you have the right to say
No.
yes or no, right? I'm just asking.
So we
Is it better?
joke about it, right? We joke about it. We're like, we drive down Military and Brownlee for whatever, and we're like, hey, do you remember when we used to live in these apartments when it was just me, you, and Maddie? Like, imagine how badass our life would be if it was just me, you, and Maddie. Like, without kids. But
done.
like, I joke about it.
But no, I feel you, dude. Like, but in that same sense, like, at one point I was in a relationship for 4 years, right? I couldn't even imagine, dude, like if I had slipped up, got her pregnant, and then she wanted to keep it, and I didn't want it, or I wanted to keep it and she didn't want it. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, to have a constant reminder, whether it's mine or, it's of me.
Okay, well, let's ask someone who's in that predicament.
Oy.
Could you imagine your life without Levi because of the situation between you and your significant other that had a child or ex?
I
don't
wouldn't.
know, like,
I
y'all
wouldn't
were-
change it for anything.
Okay,
But-
no.
Okay.
So
But y'all were
let me.
together at the time.
Yeah,
Y'all
yeah,
had
we're together.
hopes,
Let me-
y'all
let me-
had
let me
plans
reword
and
it, though.
everything.
Let me reword
So,
that.
You
Okay.
didn't think about
Yeah, I
not
didn't-
being
exactly,
with each other.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
when
okay. Let me
having him,
reword
so-
it. So not having a kid that's a constant reminder, right, of that person, but it's just how I see it. A constant reminder of like the relationship that I wanted, right? Like
Uh-huh.
I love my kids, all of them. But if we were not together, like I kind of feel like, man, it would have been somewhere where personally, this is just me, I would have taken it as a fail. I failed at that. Like
I
see
could kind of see that.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's
Yeah.
and it's not like I despise you, child. It's just what, like, in the same sense, can you imagine your life without your son? No, right?
No.
But in the same sense, could you imagine a better life for your son if you and your significant other could have stayed together?
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's a constant. Like,
Yeah.
I would be playing it
I
in
guess
my head.
I guess at times I could think about that too.
So, like, from the time that I had Madison and the time that I met Hans, like, it was one of those things, like, okay, so our second conversation that we had after he asked me, hey, so you look like you go to the clubs a lot. It was like, what do you want? And he's like, what do you mean? And I go, what do you want? I'm like, are you looking for long term, or are you just looking for a one night stand? I was like, because I can do either way. I was very promiscuous at that point.
I'm down
in
with
time.
that kind of attitude.
I
though.
was very promiscuous.
I'm down.
Because I knew I didn't want any more kids. I knew I didn't want a relationship or anything unless somebody else
You
was
took
committed.
the long road.
Unless somebody else was committed to that relationship.
And you were open about it.
Exactly.
Instead
and
of just,
I told
let's
him,
find out what happened.
yeah, no.
It's,
And
what
I
do you
told
want?
him straight up. I was like, dude, I got a 2-year-old at home that I'm taking care of. What are you looking for? Are you looking for a relationship? Or are you looking for a one night stand? What do you want? Tell me. Tell me now. No, and he was like, well, I don't know.
Nobody's
No,
ever
he
proposed
did.
there. There was never a proposition
You
like
had to,
this.
He really
you had
did.
to
He
be
was like,
committed
well, I
right
don't
then and
know.
there. That's
Normally,
basically-
Yeah.
normally I'm like playing the field trying to figure it out, and she's like, "Nope, option one, option two.
Which
Pick
one you got?
You
Pick
taking
one.
me right now?
The red
Yeah.
pill or the red pill or the blue pill?"
And it was one of those. And then he opted for the relationship.
She's like,
and
you could go to sleep right now and wake up feeling like a champ, or you could just walk away from this and
Yes.
never know what could have been.
It was. And he chose the relationship part of it. So we started talking, and then that was when everything happened with his ex, that she came out that she was pregnant. And he was like, okay, well, I want to do the right thing. And I was like, who the f does that? Like, who does the right
coming
thing
from
nowadays?
the dude
like,
some dude
all
that built
pissed
on her.
off.
She was all mad because he didn't do the right thing.
I was so mad about it.
And to
And
this
then I was
day,
like,
dude, to
whatever,
this day,
you know?
I don't know. I may have a son. I don't know.
Yeah.
We
And-
reached
and
out.
we've
Like
told
she
the
knew.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We told
And
the
we've told
kids,
the
and
kids
she
too
knew
and
about it.
everything, yeah.
I reached out to old girl, and she was like,
I guess it all depends.
So she
I
never
Yeah.
reaffirmed that.
nah.
If it was
potential
his or
opposite.
not.
Because
his,
I was,
yeah.
I didn't at the time. I mean, I knew, but again, like it's one of those things where I got to be. You have to be I have to be self-accounting, right?
Right. You have to
Yeah.
assume that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
yes,
no,
this
I
is
mean,
You
his
just
I-
gotta
life.
wait till he's 17 and get
Well,
all
see,
that back
so
then. I'm just kidding.
Demetrius, so right now Demetrius is 13.
Yeah.
So the kid's 14.
Dang.
So we have about 4 more years.
So there's a suspicion of.
Well, no,
Yeah.
like because I
No,
knew I was
there
sleeping with
is.
old girl.
Right.
Like,
No,
and
there
this
really
is before
is.
I met her. Like, I was sleeping with old girl, right? Then I found out I was Sancho the entire time.
Oh.
So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'm out of here, right?
Yeah.
Deuce. I left. I met her, and then old girl, I guess there was problems between her and dude, right? So then she comes, we enter our paths again, and she's like, hey, well, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, okay, well, cool. Like, I got to cut her loose. I like her, but I got to cut her loose because
Yeah,
I'm
you
a
gotta
total
do your
hypocrite.
responsibility.
Yeah.
your
Total
I can
hypocrite
respect
on
that.
her,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm over here telling her, oh, your dude, he's a piece of crap because he left you and your kid, and then I'm like,
And
well,
I'm
this girl's
better
pregnant.
for it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
This
now
girl's
you're
pregnant.
doing
Like,
it.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
sorry.
nah.
So anyway, I went to go do the right thing, and then old girl was like, I don't know. I guess her and dude fixed it, and she was like, oh, well, it's not yours, blah blah, this and that and the other. I don't know.
It's not yours anymore since we fixed our
I guess,
relationship.
yeah, dude.
That's how it
Because
was.
we had treads like that in the MySpace days.
Yeah.
I reached out on, and we have them
And we
printed
did,
somewhere.
Yeah. I have them printed. I have them,
told her.
set aside and everything. And
So that
he
if
did
old boy
try and
comes
ask
looking,
her.
old boy does come looking, or she decides one day I'm gonna get that paycheck, I'm like, dude, check it
I'm
out.
pretty sure he already signed the birth certificate. so
Oh no,
you're-
sure,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
for
Yeah, you're
sure.
probably in the
but a
clear.
paternity test does fix all
Paternity
that.
test, yeah.
Exactly.
But
But-
on the same token,
he
I'm like,
tried,
dude, here I
like-
tried back in the day. Like, here's
Right.
my proof. I told her, let's get a test. Let's find out. No, let's just not. Let's forget. Blah blah blah. This and that and the other.
Yeah,
Like, she went on this
she
whole.
was like, "Oh, I already know who he belongs to," and blah 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 blah.
But you
So-
hit it.
No, but like you see,
I'm just kidding.
shut up, Paul. You see pictures of the kid, and there's times that
That
he
it
kind of looks like
resembles him?
Demetrios.
Oh.
Yeah, there's times that it kind of, and they're only like a year apart. Like they're not real far apart. So like there are times that he looks like him, and I'm like, dude, well, I don't know, you know, and we don't know.
Right.
But at the same time, like
It goes
I've
back
told
to that
him
old
and
school story that
Yeah.
they look like the
Dang.
person you hated the most.
yeah.
So
And I
it's
tell him,
possible
I
too.
did, you know, in 4 more years, if this kid comes knocking on our door wanting to know why you're not there, well, you have me, you have the 3 kids, because all 3 of our kids know about it.
So, if that were to happen, I'm pretty sure y'all will welcome him.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
She was willing to do it
For
when
sure.
we found out. When I found out she was pregnant, that she didn't want nothing to do with me,
Uh-huh.
and then we got back together and we went ahead and she was like, we were gonna get married when we
Yeah.
reached out to old girl.
That continues. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Like, you need to reach out to her. You need to ask her if that kid is yours. And he was like, okay. So he finally asked her, and she was just real blunt about it. She's like, oh, I know whose kid it is, and, you know, don't worry about it. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
but if that kid wants to know who his father is, like, and you got to tell them one day, he's going to come looking for him, wondering why he wasn't in the picture. And it had nothing to do with him. It had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with our kids. Like, we wanted to be there. We wanted to help this kid through everything possible, because it's not the kid's fault in the end.
Yeah.
Like, it's really not. It's the parents' fault. It's the parents that can't come to an agreement. You know, Maddie has a friend, and as weird as it sounds, they have a house like this, right? So she has a friend, and her dad lives on the bottom level of the house, and her mom and her stepdad, they're married, live on the upper level of the house. But they all live in one house.
Yeah.
That's weird.
They all work together to take her to school, to pick her up from school, to take her to whatever extracurriculars she has. All 3 of them together coexist in a
I
house.
can't do.
I don't think I can.
No, I won't.
I
be,
know.
Yeah, I
You
won't
be
be.
hearing
I
your
don't
ex
think
get
I
I'm
can.
the same way.
Dude,
downstairs, be like, hey, you
I don't
too.
have that. That's not me.
No, and
Man,
I'm
I
the
think the
exact
stepdad won
but-
that.
Dude.
But how awesome
For the
is
kid.
that for the kid?
Yes.
Yes. To have both parents in the same household, everybody coexisting together.
That's the word, right?
Not
Coexisting.
arguing.
Exactly.
But then think about it, right? So even if you're, let's say, paying child support or paying for your kid, well, what expenses do you have? Why do you have to pay extra for housing? Why do you have to pay extra for light, for water, for clothing, or anything like that when you're all living in the same household? You don't have to pay extra for housing. You don't have to pay extra for light. You don't have to pay extra for water because you're all in one house.
Have a husband-in-law.
The husband-in-law, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
No, that's weird.
And I completely agree with you. I could not do that, but I think it is a really cool concept.
Well,
I think
I think
that
it's-
they
I
have
give
it
credit
right.
to people who can co-parent.
Yes.
Dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It
Like,
is hard.
I've never been there, right? But I feel like, I mean, I guess, because like I told her with Madison's dad, like I wasn't trying to be that, like a replacement, right?
Yeah.
I told her when old boy when he wasn't even paying child support, like I would tell her, like, dude, he's reaching out, like let her go, right? We fought a little bit on it, but then like little by little, he beat himself out of,
Right.
you know, even the opportunity. Like I would tell him, like, dude, don't mess with her. Like we can communicate. Let you know, I want you to see your kid. I don't need your money. I'm taking care of it. But we all have to stay on the same page. It's like I tell my boys, you piss her off, none of us are gonna sleep good. Like it just it ain't happy.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work, man. But he just decided, you know, he was gonna do things his way, and well,
Yeah, I had a taste of it, and I give proper respects to people who can co-parent.
Yeah.
And again, I say a taste of it because it wasn't like fully there, right? I got to
It's
experience.
not. It's not easy. Both.
It is not
both,
easy.
both
Especially
partners
when
have to be.
one of them
Yeah.
is the one that's kind of in and out here and there
Oh,
at their
yeah.
convenience.
And I think a lot of it is a lot of it truthfully is communication.
It is.
You know, if he had just tried, like instead of okay, well, I'm running from my child support so that I don't get locked up or anything, I'm going to go try and see my daughter. No matter how much I pushed him away, no matter how much I was like, nah, dude, you're not going to see your kid. Show up. Like, come to the house on your days to come and pick her up and show her that you want to be there.
Because then you make it about you.
Yeah.
And that it shouldn't be. It should be
Exactly.
about the kid.
And then that would have showed me a lot sooner that I was,
Or eventually,
I was the person in the wrong.
right? Or
You know,
eventually, like we said with your mom, right? Eventually, you kind of come around.
Yeah.
But you know, the
Yeah.
funny thing is like the relationship initially didn't work because communication was off. So how do you expect it to be afterward? You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if you're in a relationship.
I didn't want him to communicate with me. I wanted him to show up for his.
Right.
For
I
his
know,
daughter.
but I mean, he had to communicate with you to coordinate.
No.
Yes, he did.
He didn't. No, because there was a court order that said he had to be here on this day at this time. If he showed up every single weekend on this day at this time, well, shit, he's here every single weekend, right on time, right when he should be. What the hell do I have to bitch about other than the money not coming in for his child support? And then eventually you grow up and you grow out of that when I have you to support her. I no longer need him to buy her milk. I no longer need him to buy her school supplies or a backpack or anything like that because I have you to help me support her in that. Well, now he's showing up every single weekend. Well, he's showing an initiative to want to see his daughter. He wants to be there for her. He wants to take her. He wants to be... Okay, well, at that point, go with your dad.
Wishful thinking, but someone who doesn't want to pay child support, but they have the initiative to see their kids, wouldn't that eventually ignite that willing to want to help? Because this is your child, right?
Right. But again, so I think, again, this is one of those things where, like, if you take the government out of it, right? Yeah. If together they come up with, hey, look, this is what I expect, right? A realistic number, I think, because I think even some dads out there are getting reamed, right? And they want to be there for their kids. They're doing what they're doing, and they're being reamed, right? So, but if you separate government, you take that away, right? You and your other person are like, look, man, I know I got a kid. You know I got a kid, right? Let's figure out a number that makes us both happy. And we work together, because what I can't get people to understand, when especially young women, when they think like, oh, I'll just put them on child support. Because dude, the state has to get paid for that. There's the court time that you got to pay. There's lawyers involved. All of that.
And then not only that, like, you have to take into consideration when you become a single mom, you have to have health care on those kids. So what do you go and sign up for? You sign up for Medicare, right? And then, okay, you got to feed those kids. So what do you sign up for? You sign up for food stamps. And then you got to buy laundry soap and shampoo to wash their asses. So you sign up for TANF. Those 3 programs are not free.
No. Well, they're free to you.
Yeah,
they're free to you. But the minute the state starts collecting child support from you, that money automatically goes back to the state.
I don't remember any of that. But all I'm saying is, again, like, dude, I think if you separate government from a relationship in any of its capacities, boyfriend, girlfriend,
husband,
buddies,
wife,
husband, wife, you eliminate that out of the equation, right? Mm-hmm. One, I think people are held more accountable. They'll sit down before thinking about 6 months in, I'm going to get this person pregnant. Then they change their mind and they're gone with your kid and you're stuck with the bill. But then I also think more women would sit down and think about how much money they could potentially get. There's an even number, right? And that they're direct payments to her.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, because I think there's a lot of guys that like sit back and think like, oh, well, I give her my money and she goes and spends it on gas or goes and buys this, pays a bill.
She goes buy Cheetos,
what difference does it make, right? Like, dude, once the money's in my bank account, I spend it on what I want to spend it on, right? No different than your check.
Right.
My checks go to pay for my kids and my wife and my habits, right? they go to pay those deals. Yeah. So if Homeboy had been paying anything, to me, that's reimbursement. That's my money.
That's what it is.
Right?
It's a reimbursement.
It's not a it'd be one thing if I was a piece of shit. Then okay, then
because
maybe.
I think that's one of the biggest arguments is, oh, well, how do I know she's going to spend it on the kid? Well, she doesn't have to spend it on the kid because she's already spending her money
that's what I'm saying.
on the kid.
How do you know she's not spending more than that on the kid already?
Yeah.
Like, so you can't argue those.
Or if it goes to a light bill or a water bill,
that's still for the kid.
It's
right.
still for
Exactly.
the kid. Yeah.
Because if it was the other way around, if the kid was with you and you were collecting child support from her, I'm sure she'd ask the same questions. I'm giving this mother money, And where's it going? What
Yeah.
difference does it make?
With some rims.
PS5 money.
They're called wheels, Paul. Rims are for basketball
No.
courts.
and then truthfully, like when you go in for child support, and I got taken on this one. I went in for child support because that was what you were supposed to do. That was what my mom did when my mom and my dad got divorced. She went and she got child support. So when I got pregnant with Madison, it was a big thing. You're going to go get child support. So I had the kid and I go for child support, and then they like bum rush you with all this information as far as visitation rights go, and everything goes. And okay, well, you have to pick a day. Well, what about this day? And what about this time? And what about this? And what about that? And you don't know that you can say, no, I don't want you to handle that. I want to take that somewhere else. You can tell them that. Okay. But you don't know this, that you can tell them, no, I don't want to handle that. Yeah. I don't want to handle that with you. Because then they're on after every time that you go to court for child support, let's say he's not paying and you go to court for child support to try and collect, and then you try bringing up visitation rights. The first thing that they tell you is, we are here for money, and that's it. We are here for money for your kids. That is it. We are not here for visitations. You have any issues with visitations, you need to hire a lawyer and schedule court someplace else.
Family
not
court.
here.
Or
Not
civil
here.
court, right?
Civil.
It's
What
got
else?
nothing to
I
do
don't know
with
if it's
that.
civil. I think it's family
I
court.
think it's family court. Yeah.
Civil would be like, see, that's where like I think more guys would benefit if they could get dude, go I don't understand. I've seen it done. Well, not see, I've heard of it done. But I don't understand why you couldn't just draw up a contract. What's the difference? Right? So
Right.
like you
I
go
agree.
we
I
sit
agree.
down.
There really isn't.
That's what I'm saying. But you involve your lawyer.
Yeah.
So whenever you want to pay for that lawyer, right, to enforce the contract that's been signed, right, instead of the government's constantly there. Once you sign on the dotted line there, like right now, the dude owes like 50 grand, right? We're never going to see that money. He's in jail for life. We're never going to see that
Never.
money, right? But who cares? But
And at that, you're paying for him to be
That's
in jail.
why you need to
Yeah.
subscribe.
For real. Oh,
What happened? I don't know what it says.
Maybe memory card?
I don't
We've been on for
see
almost
it.
3 hours.
Oh my God.
It may be.